Hello, friends. I'm Kanchan from Akulmak Technologies, and you are welcome to our show, The Great Kings of India. And today we'll be discussing about Bindisar and Ajatashatru, the great kings of Magadha. And to discuss about these wonderful kings, we have uh, uh, Shrimati Meeta Joshi, who is the head of the department at St. Anne's College in Hyderabad. So, welcome to the show, Meeta ji. How are you today?
Hi Kanchan, how are you?
I'm fine, thank you. So yet again, we
Yes.
are discussing the great king Azatshatru and Bimbisar. So I'm eager to really listen to you and what is in store about these great kings.
Okay. I will give you a little political backdrop before I start about Bimbisar and Ajatashatru. If you see in the 6th century BC, it saw the rise of Mahajanpads districts. 16 Mahajanpads came into existence and some republics also. And this all happened in the 6th century BC, in which these Mahajanpads were fighting with each other for power. Okay, and this time the Magadha Empire it rose, and that's why they say rise of Magadha. And we don't know about the previous rulers because there is no mention in the accounts, but we get a mention about Bimbisar and Ajatashatru. So Bimbisar was the fourth successor. He was the fourth king of the Pradyota dynasty or Haramkya dynasty, and he was a contemporary of Lord Buddha. So these two things are going parallelly, okay? Buddhism and rise of Magadha. Now, Bimbisar, when he came into power, he wanted to expand his empire. He wanted to expand his Magadha empire, and for that, he waged wars with some kingdoms, with some Mahajanpads, with some he entered matrimonial alliances so that peace be there and they accept his suzerainty also.
Okay.
In this, imperialist policy which Bimbisar followed, he set up a very good administration in which he appointed some officers which were known as Rajbhatas. And if you see broadly, they were divided into four categories like someone for justice, someone for administration, someone for army. So, like that, the categorization was done. Apart from having a set of officers, what Bimbisar did was he gave autonomy to all his small kingdoms which were under him. So they were like Bimbisar was the head. Then there were these Mahajanpads and republics, but they enjoyed their autonomy. They were free to take their own decisions with the consent of the king. So this was the
So something
setup.
like a separate state, I mean small state, and something like today when we have a federal system, small state they are reporting to central. I think something like that.
Yes.
Okay.
So
Okay.
this type of setup was there, and because Bimbisar was a contemporary of Buddha, so he some texts they tell that he followed Buddhism. Some texts tell that he followed Jainism, but the Brahmin accounts tell that he was the follower of Brahmanism. After Bimbisar, his son Ajatashatru came to power, but to come into power, Ajatashatru killed his own father. He killed Bimbisar according to the Buddhist tradition, But if you see the Jain philosophy, in the Jain text, it is mentioned that he poisoned himself, he committed suicide because Ajatashatru had imprisoned him.
Oh,
So different theories are there about Bimbisar's death. Now, Ajatashatru, when he came to power, okay, he came to power around 492 BC and he ruled up till 460 BC, and he followed the same imperialist policy which his father followed. He tried to expand his empire. In order to do this, the first war he had with Prasenjit, the king of Kosala kingdom, and after this war, Prasenjit offered the hand of his daughter to Ajatashatru, and Ajatashatru married him. So again, matrimonial alliance. After this Kosala kingdom, he had to wage a war against Lichavis because that time two republics were very, very powerful. They were Lichavis and the Sakyas. So with Lichavis, he had a long war, Ajatashatru, and probably it was the time when he established this city Patliputra. He laid the foundations of Patliputra at that time when he had a war with the Lichavis. After Lichavis, he again had to wage wars with the ruler of Avanti because see all these small kingdoms which were there that time, they were powerful in their own territories. So for with Prasenjit, why Ajatashatru fought was because he stopped giving revenues to Ajatashatru.
okay.
So one by one, he waged wars, either by war, either by treaties, either by matrimonial alliances. He tried to expand his empire, and before his death, he was able to make Magadha a very, very powerful empire. Before his death, he had extended the boundaries of Magadha Empire far and wide. And one more thing because of which Ajatashatru is known in the pages of history is that he was the king who convened the first Buddhist council um, at that time. He patronized the Buddhist council that time, and Buddhist council was nothing, they were meetings. That was a huge meeting in which the monks, nuns, and either kings were invited, and they sat together and discussed how to compile the teachings of Buddha and how to propagate the good things about Buddhism, far and wide. So this was the main what what shall I coin the word, main purpose of the Buddhist council. So it happened under Ajatashatru, okay, after the death of Buddha at Rajgriha. Rajgriha was the place, and this council was presided over by Mahakassapa, and they decided that how to give a shape to the teachings of Buddha so that it reaches more and more people. So Ajatashatru, he patronized Buddhism, and with this first Buddhist council which he convened at Rajgriha, he became very, very popular. But only one drawback which you will see in the personality of Ajatashatru was that he killed his father to come to the throne. And not only Ajatashatru, all the rulers of this Pratyuta dynasty, they killed their fathers to come to the throne. After Ajatashatru, his successor Darsaka, he also did the same thing. Then Shishuna did the same thing. So I don't know why this trait was there in these people, but the truth is that they did that. Killing their own fathers and coming to the throne. That's why this dynasty is little infamous because of this trait of killing their own fathers. And after this fall of Shishuna, then came in being the Nanda dynasty. Nanda dynasty, which was very very brutal because they were not pro people. They only wanted to take more and more revenues for their own selfish motives. This is all about Bimbisar and Ajatashatru Kanchan.
Okay, so I've heard that this Ajatashatru was a very great general, and he's invented few weapons, and one of them is a rod caterpillar, I guess, catapult, I guess. So apart of that, one weapon was also there. Later on, it was used very much by other kings.
It was a unique device in which it was a wooden thing in which they used to put the rock and throw the rock to the enemies. If you have watched the film Bahubali, Bahubali has
Right.
used the same weapon in
Okay.
it.
Yes.
So this see the war techniques which they had,
Yes.
the
Yes.
weapons, they were very advanced.
Yes.
That's why they were able to conquer more territories.
Yes.
That was one of the major reasons.
So, apart of his impact on the Buddhist, the recognition of Buddhist council, and he was a great general. Yes, that the trait of killing his father and coming on a throne, this is not known as far as I know, and as far as I have read that any king has done in the past. So I think
No.
that is something which is really bad when we talk about Ajatashatru. But we have other a very great and profound trait of Ajatashatru. So, what is the impact of Ajatashatru the period politically on India?
See, politically, as I told you at that time, these 16 Mahajanpads came into being, and then republics also came into being. So, Ajatashatru, he tried to expand the Magadhan Empire. Okay, he wanted to establish his supremacy, and he did that with his imperialist policy number one, with the wars which he waged, and with the matrimonial alliances. And when you are powerful, and then he with this Buddhist council became more influential because uh, he was the first person who convened the Buddhist council at Rajgriha.
Okay.
So, because of all these things, he became very, very strong politically.
Mhm.
That's why Magadha
Mhm.
was, and then he laid the foundations of Patliputra,
Mhm.
which has a huge history.
Correct.
As a city, Patliputra has a huge history,
Right.
not only with the Magadhan kings, but later when we will discuss about other dynasties, then also you will find the mention of Patliputra.
Yes. So I think contribution of Ajatashatru is immense because he has laid the foundation of Patliputra, who is in our history page, attained at greater heights. And apart of this, he was a great general. He has invented a weapon which we generally don't know. Most of people don't know and they don't discuss. So I think I can safely say that Ajatashatru as a great general, and we should be discussing about this his profile in schools, and people should know about this great king. It was so lovely to talk to you, Meeta ji. We'll meet again in next episode and discuss another great king of India. Thank you so
Sure. Sure. Thanks.